Ghosts, spirits, souls, these are all made-up stories. I don't believe in these things. Wow, that chilling statement comes directly from Dr. Maruti Rao. This is a guy who literally built his entire life around the dead, but absolutely refused to acknowledge anything beyond just physical flesh and bone. But, what happens when the universe decides to test that absolute certainty? Let's find out.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a masterful suspense narrative all about the terrifying consequences of ultimate arrogance. We are going to dissect the story of a man whose reality is shattered in literally the most visceral way imaginable. So let's look at the anatomy of this thriller and the profound hubris of Dr. Maruti Rao.
Section 1. The Fearless Doctor. Analyzing the protagonist's arrogant skepticism.
So, Dr. Maruti Rao's baseline reality is built on decades of postmortem experience. I mean, he is an absolute rock. Whether it's a waterlogged body from the rain or a truly gruesome road accident victim, he is utterly unfazed. His colleagues respect him, and his senior, Dr. Sawant, heavily relies on him. But his most defining trait? It's his absolute, unwavering dismissal of the supernatural. During a late-night phone call with Dr. Sawant, when asked if he believes in ghosts after all his years in the morgue, Maruti literally just laughs it off. His confidence is completely impenetrable.
Section 2. The New Assistant. Introducing the foil character.
Right from the jump, you can feel the psychological tension. On one side of the autopsy table, we've got Dr. Maruti Rao, experienced, fearless, absolute skeptic. But on the other side, sent by Dr. Sawant for the night shift, we have Deepak. Now, Deepak is pretty much everything Maruti is not. He's a novice, visibly frightened by the cold reality of the morgue, and, crucially, a quiet believer in the unseen. Maruti, of course, immediately looks down on him. He sees Deepak's fear as just a pathetic weakness to be mocked.
But then, Deepak delivers this incredible line. He says, "Just because we don't believe it doesn't mean it's not the truth." Now, this isn't just a throwaway comment. It is a brilliant piece of foreshadowing. It perfectly sets up this intense ideological battle taking place in that cold, sterile room. Deepak is quietly planting a seed of doubt, even if Maruti's ego is just way too massive to let it actually take root.
Section 3. Taunting the supernatural. The gruesome demonstration. Okay, so the author uses intensely uncomfortable sensory details here to really build the tension. Maruti begins the post-mortem on a victim of a severe vehicle accident, and the process is incredibly visceral. First, he plunges a surgical blade deep into the neck. Then he removes internal organs, specifically pulling out the damaged lungs of a smoker just to mockingly show them to Deepak. And finally, he takes a literal hammer to open the skull as if he's just popping off a lid. It's graphic, it's brutal, and Maruti does the whole shebang with a smug smile, entirely just to intimidate his new assistant. During this whole gruesome display, Maruti's hubris hits its absolute peak. He arrogantly claims to Deepak that ghosts are actually afraid of doctors. And why? Well, because spirits lack physical bodies. They can't feel the sharp cut of a scalpel or the crushing blow of a hammer. He's basically using the mangled flesh right in front of him to prove his total dominance over the physical world, openly taunting any invisible forces that might be hanging around listening.
Section 4. The Terrifying Reveal. The twist approaches.
So he finishes up, checks the paperwork, steps up to the next table, and slowly pulls back the white cloth. Now I want you to ask yourself, based on everything we've just analyzed about Maruti's extreme arrogance, whose body was under that second sheet? It was Dr. Maruti Rao. Yeah, he is staring down at his own lifeless face. The source text describes his absolute shock. His eyes go wide, all the color drains from his face, and he steps back in just pure terror. The reality he had built his entire life upon shatters in a fraction of a second. He literally cannot comprehend what he is looking at. And in that exact moment of paralyzing fear, we get this complete role reversal. Deepak, the supposedly frightened novice, steps forward completely calm. He places a hand on the terrified doctor's shoulder and delivers this chilling reality check. Scared, Maruti Rao? You dismiss invisible forces, but that doesn't change the truth. The master has officially become the tragic subject, and the frightened student is now totally in control. Section 5. The Final Truth. Connecting the dots. Right then, Dr. Sawant and his colleague Shinde walk in. Sawant looks at the body on the table and casually drops this tragic irony. Dr. Maruti Rao died of a sudden heart attack in his sleep the night before.
A man who spent his entire life dissecting the dead had quietly become one himself, and he had absolutely no idea.
Let's map out the chilling reality of what actually just happened. So last night, Maruti dies in his sleep. Yet, driven by pure habit and routine, at 8 p.m. today, his spirit arrives at the morgue to begin his shift. He converses, he thinks, he literally performs a brutal autopsy. It isn't until 11 p.m. that the shocking truth is finally revealed to him. The Maruti performing the postmortem was a ghost the entire time. No way, right?
Dr. Sawant casually mentions a concept that we can call the sudden death phenomenon. Interestingly enough, even in real-world neurology, sudden massive trauma can sometimes leave the brain unaware of its physical deficits for brief moments. But here, it's taken to a supernatural extreme. When death is instantaneous, like a sudden heart attack in your sleep, the spirit sometimes simply cannot accept that the physical body is gone. So it just gets up and continues its daily routine. It's a psychological defense mechanism that literally transcends death itself. Oh, and Shinde reveals one more secret. Deepak was hired precisely because he has the unique ability to communicate with these lost spirits. So everything comes back to one fatal flaw: hubris. Excessive pride or self-confidence. Maruta's downfall wasn't some monster hiding in the dark. It was his own blinding arrogance. He was so incredibly certain of his physical reality, so immensely proud of his fearlessness, that he completely failed to recognize his own demise. His skepticism literally blinded him to his own death.
The source material ends with Dr. Sawant asking about Maruti's beliefs, to which Deepak replies, looking out at the night air, Maruti Rao used to believe that ghosts were made-up stories. As a cold wind blows through the morgue window, we're left to ponder this. How certain are any of us about the actual boundaries of our reality? If the ultimate skeptic can become the very thing he denies, what unseen truths are we blinding ourselves to right now? Think about that.